we'll still have it ready for everyone. So let me go ahead. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so just a recap on Scrub Day. Shout out to Jordan, Jenna, Lily, and Joshi. You guys all got 2 points, and then also for next time, for people who we have them about once a month. Please participate. It's so much fun, and you get 1 extra point if you also tag us on your Instagram story. That mention also.
So next we have health professionals. So this is a big thing that we're doing this year because so many of our normal activities we're not able to do because of COVID. We're really trying to do more with our health professionals this year. So if you know anyone in the medical field, does not matter what they do, please try to talk to them, to have them come in and talk to us. We have the link for the form on this presentation that you can fill out for about professionals that you want to see, that we can try to reach out and find someone to come and see us for. But if you know anyone, just tell them to come in and talk to us. You can also earn 7 points for bringing in medical professionals.
Right, and so we're just going to touch base on competitive events. So at State Leadership Conference, you get to, there we go. You get to compete in a competitive event. And we just kind of want to touch base because spring seems really far away, but it does come up really fast. And especially if you haven't competed before, this is something to kind of look into. So if you want to go on, this is just like the HOSA website, you can go on hosa.org, you can go to competition, and you just press guidelines. And then you get to this page and you can see literally all of the competitive events. And you also get to see all the resources and what you need to know for each event. They're broken down in really pretty good categories. You have health science events. These are going to be more of knowledge tests. So you'll take a test. It's about 90 minutes. And you kind of read a textbook and then you kind of go from there. Then you have kind of health professions events. I think Kate, Brandy, didn't you guys do some of these?
We did forensic science, which is
that's a
somewhere
different
else.
one. Okay, never mind. But in this one, you just have more of a skill-based idea with this one. You're doing things rather than just a test, or you're doing things in addition to a test. Emergency preparedness, this is kind of still kind of a skill-based thing, but more geared toward emergency preparedness rather than more of a health profession. Finally, we have leadership and then teamwork events. These kind of go hand in hand. Both are more of just working together and coming up with creative ideas rather than a specific health occupation or anything like that. Some of my cabinet members, do you guys want to share some of your experience with some of these? Brandy.
Yeah, I totally can. I guess I'm the only one that did one. I did extemporaneous writing last year, and it was super, super easy. They gave me a prompt. I had 45 minutes to an hour to write a paper about it, and it was just about how video games negatively impact teenagers today. And then I ended up getting second place, which qualified me for internationals. It was super, super easy. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Which other event did you do?
I did forensic medicine with Kate, which is in the teamwork events.
Okay. What was that like?
So basically, Kate and I went in and we each took a separate test. Then what they did is they averaged our test scores, which determined if we made it to round 2. And for round 2, we just had to do a practical application.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of different options for whatever type of event like suits you best. And you don't have to compete at state, but we all recommend it.
It is a really cool experience, and I always enjoy competing at state. Angela, what have you done? I know you go.
These past 2 years, I've done nutrition, which is a health science event, and it is just a knowledge test. So where Brandy and Kate did forensics and there was 2 rounds, you only have 1 round for all of your knowledge tests. So you pretty much just go in, sit down, and take a test for 90 minutes, and then you get placed in the top 5 get called down to the stage, like during awards. It's it's easy. And I definitely would recommend, especially if you're like just starting out and wanting to compete, you don't normally do it the first day. So the first day we're at Rolla, you pretty much get to study the whole day, which is super, super nice. And I had a lot of fun with it.
All right. And just in addition to all of that kind of insight, you can look up here and they have some resources up here. I know they made new videos and stuff. If you're kind of confused on what you kind of want to look into, you can definitely go that route. I'd say you get to compete in one of these competitive events, but then you can also do some of these recognition events. The most common is the Barbara James Service Award. So if you're already doing service hours or you are thinking about doing service hours, you can log them via HOSA and you can get recognized at state and even internationals. I guess like the second most common would probably be the healthcare issues exam. This one you just kind of sit for a test and you kind of are tested on just what has been happening in like the past few years as far as medicine innovation is concerned. So yeah, you still have those two options as well if you want to do those in addition to some of these other events. So we just wanted to kind of introduce those to you and so you could start thinking about that so we could start working towards that spring goal of that. Get back to my presentation. Right. All right, I have that one's not. Okay, Brandy.
Okay, so I had about 7 designs submitted for the t-shirt, which is absolutely awesome. That's pretty much double of what we had last year, which is super, super cool. So that link on the third one down, and there's also one in the chat. It's the very first link in there. If you click that link, you are able to vote for a t-shirt, vote for short sleeve, long sleeve, what color out of the options, and then your favorite designs. You can pick up the 3. And then I'm going to close the poll tomorrow afternoon after school. And then when I get home, I'm going to go through and pick out the most popular ones, and that'll be your t-shirt. And then we'll all get information to you guys through Remind about price and like how to pay the money and all that stuff, especially if you're online. I know it's going to be a little tricky, but yes. And yes, Lily, I will resend the t-shirt voting poll. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All I got.
All right, so one of the things we usually do is these profit share things with restaurants, and there's a lot of places that do these, and I guess the biggest thing is we just have to choose one. So what'll happen is whichever one we choose, we'll have like a certain amount of time in a certain day that we'll tell you guys about, and that'll be determined shortly. But basically, like 20%, 20 or 15, I don't even know how much, it varies, I guess. However much profit they get from people that go and say, hey, I'm with HOSA, then we'll get that money. And so it's a really good way to do fundraising. And so to vote on where we're going to do the first one, there's this form here, and I think I need to switch the privacy settings on it, but if you want to copy and paste that or whatever, that should be, yeah.
We'll send that out on Remind later tonight too.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I don't know why I clicked the link, but I did. So there we go. Okay. Sanjana.
All right. So we
Or
will be
Nadia,
keeping
I don't
track
know.
of like what?
You go, sorry.
Okay. We'll be keeping like track of your participation through points this year. So like coming to meetings and participating in scrub days or the Wednesday webinars that we have or other events that will be scheduled later in the year. Those events will get you the points. And once we have t-shirts and we can see that you're wearing them in the meeting, you will get an extra point for wearing them in the meeting. And you want these points so when you're a senior, you get to wear a cord at graduation, and we will discuss cord like requirements later.
So just touching on dues, I know we kind of talked about this last meeting as well, but we're still going to have those $35 dues, and we're going to try and have those due the 23rd, I believe, but the last day before fall break. So try and get those in by then so we can affiliate you during fall break, and you will officially be a member of our HOSA chapter and of Missouri HOSA and National HOSA, and you can start participating and getting all of those resources directly to you. Along with that, make sure that, and those can go directly to Mr. Dalton, or if you're virtual, you can get those into the attendance office or someplace like that.
And I'll tell you, Ben and everybody, if you plan on dropping it off on the 23rd, you need to do that in the morning because I'm leaving at 2:20 exactly on the 23rd. So
all right,
I'm driving to Florida right at that time. So I will not be in my room at 2:21.
Sounds good. So make sure you get those in early, first thing in the morning, the 23rd. We'll also be sending reminders throughout this week and next week to make sure you guys remember that. And along with that, make sure most of you probably have, but if you haven't already, fill out this membership form right there. The bit.ly link is right there. It's super simple, just a quick information so we can get you on our point spreadsheet and on our membership spreadsheet as well. And then I wanted to touch base on HOSA Week. So this is something that National HOSA has done for quite a while. Basically, it's the first week of every November, and we're typically doing like HOSA related activities around the school. Obviously, with COVID, that's not really as practical, but this week for us is only 3 days. We're off the Monday and Tuesday of this week. So in reality, we would only have like 3 days to work with anyway. So it wouldn't be that much of a commitment besides that point. Last year, one of the challenges they had was you had to create the HOSA letters in something fun, something different, medical related. And you can see one version of that, like a micropipette thing. But I'm going to work, and if you have any ideas for ways we could just create like a design of like HOSA somewhere really simple, or like something fun just on social media maybe, let me know, and we can try and make that happen and just have something really fun the first week of November. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know. These are our social medias you haven't joined yet. If you haven't joined their mind, I mean, I don't know how you're here then because the links through their mind. But if you haven't followed the Twitter, the Instagram, please follow those. We'll be putting updates on there as well. And then the YouTube is there as well. So if you miss meetings, we'll be posting them there most likely.
All right. So that's all we got. I saw a few questions in the chat, so we'll go ahead and get on those. If I can find the chat, here we go. Okay, so where are most of these events? So I assume that's about SLC. So SLC is typically, if it were in person, which it may or may not be this year, is at Missouri S&T in Rolla. I think there are dates published online. I don't know the dates exactly right now, but we would go down and we'd be there for 2 days or something like that. And we would compete in Rolla with all of us. And it's just really cool, fun experience. We'll resend that poll. Oh yeah, Dalton just answered you anyway. Some of the links are saying I need to request access. Yeah, I think Allie is working on that one. And if you need one other than the food one, let us know, because I think that's the one that's acting up. How many points do you need to get?
Something to add for state is that, sorry to cut you off. I did not mean to. But we are going to have a meeting in like late December towards the end of the first semester about state. So if you're still like not positive you want to compete, I would suggest just taking a look at the events, seeing if there's something that interests you, and then maybe attending that meeting just to determine if you really want to or not. Because it is a big commitment. It's a lot. You got to take some time out and study, but at the end, it's really worth it. Mm-hmm. So that's just something to think about.
For sure.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And then how many points do you need for quarter graduation, which is a really good question. And to be honest, we don't really know 100% what that's going to look like because of the format this year. Last year, we had a goal to get everyone at 75 points, which seemed to be very, very attainable for people. Well, that's kind of where our benchmark is probably most likely going to wind up, but we're going to be more forgiving if you don't hit that mark exactly. your points are kind of cumulative your junior and senior year, as you might have known from last year. So just look at that. And we'll be really transparent with that and see kind of where we're at as far as how many points we're giving out and opportunities. I think it should be attainable, but we'll definitely make corrections and amend that if we need to. Is it just taking tests for the competition, or is there like a performance aspect to it? That's a good question. It really depends on what exactly you are competing in. So like, let me go back here. So if we go back to our competitive events really quick, all of these health science events right up here are going to be 100% a test. So you'll do a 90 question test in like an hour or something like that after reading a textbook or studying to whatever degree you want to. If you do something more like health professions, this is where you're going to get more into actually doing a skill. You'll still have to qualify to compete in this skill by taking a knowledge test on like the first day of competition, but then once you qualify for the activity or specialty or skill, you'll go in and do that. As far as like emergency preparedness and these other ones, you kind of have to go in and look. I will say a majority of these ones are more skill-based and less test-based than the health professions and the health science. But you just kind of have to get in there and kind of see which ones are interesting to you. I will say there's 2 new events, competitive events this year, health informatics, as well as, what was it? I think it was research poster. Those are 2 new ones. So if you're looking for something that people probably aren't as experienced with, those could be 2 good options. You'll just have to go in and look at those. Any other questions? How do we, okay. How do we get points for fundraisers? Where do we enter them in? So fundraisers typically in the last year, we set a like kind of, if you went at all to a fundraiser, you got so many points, but then each additional person you brought with you, you would get extra points because that's just more money we're getting from you spending money to buy food there. So that's typically what we'll do. And we will one of us will be there when you go into the food night, or you can just text us that you went and we'll probably be fine with that too. Like I said, we're still organizing those and we'll definitely get those dates out to you once we kind of see where everybody would want to do those at.
Also, kind of a quick shout out, if you guys look on Kate's screen, Mrs. Hahn is there and she's our other sponsor. Besides Mr. Dalton, you guys have probably all seen her around. But yeah, if you guys have any host-related questions and you can't get contact with one of us on cabinet, please go see Hahn or Dalton. They're both so helpful, even though Mr. Dalton doesn't seem like it sometimes. I promise he is.
Just get that money to him before he goes to Florida, right? That'll make his day, I'm sure. All right. Unless there's any other questions, I think we're good to go ahead and end this meeting. I'll go ahead.